Hi, my name is Jo. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back, because we are officially on my second YouTube video. Today is a Saturday, and I thought I would give my first go at a vlog because I have a lot of random bookish themed things to do today, and none of them are like long enough for one video, I don't think. I have some TikToks to film, I have some things to unbox, and then I randomly decided to cosplay tomorrow, so I need to get some stuff ready for that photo shoot because I think I'm gonna end up being Bryce. The first thing that I unboxed is Sanctuary of the Shadow, which I pre-ordered from Amazon. But before I unboxed it, I did see some TikToks pop up on my For You page where people were just saying that this is not their favorite book. I don't remember exactly what the book is about, but I do have to say that it is beautiful. Okay, so I am rereading the synopsis to refresh my memory, and to be fair, it still sounds interesting. I feel like people's complaints with the book that I saw online were just that like the writing wasn't the best, so I will just have to wait and see how I feel about that. But this is a fantasy, and our FMC is named Harrow, and her entire clan has been slaughtered, so she is hiding in a circus to keep safe. And then for our MMC, his name is not mentioned, but it sounds like he shows up to the circus, doesn't remember his past, has some dark powers, and together they sort of maybe figure out what was happening in his past that he doesn't remember. So I will just have to see how I feel about that. Now, as I mentioned in my first video, aside from being a big reader, I'm also in a lot of different fandoms, one of which is the Taylor Swift fandom. So even though this is not necessarily bookish related, we're also gonna unbox this. Immediately, we do have some 1989 Taylor's version stars. The first thing I see is a folklore sweatshirt, or I guess it's maybe like a crew neck. Right here in the center, it does say folklore, and it is so soft. And it does say Taylor Swift here at the bottom. This is so cute. My collection of Taylor Swift crew necks and sweaters is so massive that I don't have an excuse to be adding more to it, but I'm always so happy when I do. I guess that's kind of the same thing with books though. Like, I don't need any more books, but the serotonin, you know? Next, I have a scarf, and this one is again from the Folklore album. I now officially own 2 Taylor Swift scarves. The other one is from the Red album. The fact that the stars made it on here just makes this so perfect. Okay, one more to go. Now, this is something that is completely unique to me. I don't have anything else like this in my collection from Taylor Swift or any fandom. So this is a duffel bag, and it sort of matches like the really popular blue crew neck from the Eras tour. This is like the perfect carry-on size, so I will definitely be using this. I do love that it says Taylor Swift the Eras tour, and I love the fact that it's not super in your face. Like, if you don't look super close at this, you won't know that it's merch. And that's honestly some of my favorite kinds of merch, is like when they're more minimalistic. So we'll definitely be using this a lot. Okay, and that is it for my Taylor Swift merch. So now that all of that is unboxed, I think what I'm gonna do is just film some TikToks. I wish I had more books of like the week of what I've been reading to talk to you guys about, but honestly, I have been pretty deep into the Chestnut Spring series by Elsie Silver, and that's all I've been reading, other than my reread of House of Sky and Breath, but it is a reread. And because I still have one book to go in the Chestnut Spring series, I think I wanna like hold off on talking about that until I can talk about all of them together. So I'm gonna start filming some bookish TikToks, and then when I'm done, I will end up shopping because there are some pieces that I'll need to cosplay Bryce tomorrow. My first stop ended up being Goodwill, and I went to their jacket section. I wanted to see if I could find some kind of like leather or fake leather jacket where I could paint on Through Love All Is Possible onto the back. But the one jacket I found just wasn't the right vibe, so I decided to just leave that as is and use a jacket that I already own for Bryce. But before I left, I of course had to check out the book section. I did end up finding 2 books to buy. One is a mystery thriller. It's A Town Called Soulless by Mary Lawson. The second is Homebody by Ruby Carr, which is poetry. After checking out, I went over to Joann Fabrics, where I ended up grabbing the stuff I needed for Bryce's necklace, which included a chain and some jump rings. And while we were out, we did stop at Target, and I did show restraint in the book section. But I did fail in the Valentine section. Last year, we got this like peanut butter and jelly figure, and this year I figured we needed the coffee and the donut, so that did come home with me. Here's a closer look at the 2 books that I ended up buying today at Goodwill. The first one is A Town Called Soulless by Mary Lawson. I've never heard of the book or the author, but the cover looked intriguing to me. Read the synopsis, and then I did end up checking the score on Goodreads, and it was a little bit over a 4-star read. It does seem like a mystery. It sounds like there is a missing person, a mysterious new neighbor, and I am trying to read more books that aren't just the super popular authors or titles. It's especially been a long time since I've picked up any kind of book like that wasn't a fantasy or a romance. Actually, one of my favorite 5-star reads ever, and it was a thriller, is called Dear Child, and I can't remember the first name of the author, but the last name was Houseman, I believe. And it's a book I had never heard of, and I really haven't seen anyone talk about it actually since reading it. And it was just a staff recommended pick that ended up sounding interesting to me and became one of my favorites. So not to put the pressure on this, but just in general, I am trying to be more open-minded. The second book I picked up is Homebody by Ruby Carr. I do have some of her other books. I did not pick up this one when it first came out because a lot of the reviews I saw were just kind of negative, said there wasn't a lot to it. So I didn't buy it originally because originally it was $17. But I bought it for like $2.50 today, so that seemed worth it to me. When I got home today, I did end up reading the first 2 sections of the book, which are called Mind and Heart. I do have to say a lot of it felt like, I don't want to say surface level, but the best way that I can explain it is I'm 26. But had this been out and had I read it in high school, it would have felt profound. So maybe it's just a perspective thing. I'm just at a point in my life where that's not as relevant. I think the most unique poem that I found in here is on page 40, and it's a poem that's directed to her bed. It talks about all of like the vulnerable things that you experience on your bed, and it's more than just like sleeping and sex, but also like where you cry and where you write. And I like the ending. It says, "And in the end, it will be you, old friend, delivering me to death while rested." So I do plan on finishing this probably tomorrow. And then I got the 1-week reminder notification that my Inner Circle book club meeting is a week from today. And we had 3 books this month. I've read 2, but I do still need to read Hellbent, and I have not started even like a page of that. So the first book in this series is Ninth House, and we read that last month. I ended up loving it, but it took me until about the 40% mark to really get into it. There was just a slow start, and it was at that 40%-ish mark where storylines started picking up and intertwining, and there was action. And so I think I have this fear that Hellbent will be the same way. But rationally, I don't think it will be, because the first book ended on a cliffhanger where I feel like we could move into this story really quickly. There's like that hesitancy to get it started. So all that to say, before I can start Hellbent, I just need to finish my reread of House of Sky and Breath. So after I read those 2 sections of Homebody by Ruby Carr, I picked this back up. I was at page 200, and tonight I got to page 533. So that's good progress, especially considering there are just over 800 pages in this book. And basically, I'm really thanking my past self for deciding to reread this prior to House of Flame and Shadow coming out next week, because I swear I've read this, but it feels like a surprise on every page. There is just so much lore and so many storylines and characters that I thought I remembered it all, and as I'm reading through it, I'm realizing that not only do I not remember it all, at all, but the things that I do remember are very random and sort of out of place. Like, one of the things that I swore happened towards the very beginning of the book has not happened. It's not even that important. It was just like one random scene that I remember so vividly. There are far more important things that occur in this book that for some reason just did not process in my brain. It's just so much, and it's so much in a good way, but in a way that I think I would have been screwed had I not reread this. And the last bookish thing I need to do today is combine this chain with some of these jump rings to create Bryce's necklace. That is all I have left to prepare for tomorrow's photo shoot, because we are leaving bright and early and I want to have everything ready tonight. Okay, here's what we're working with. We have our chain. I pulled out 3 of these little jump rings, and then the pliers that I'm going to use to pull the jump rings apart and then put them back together. Here's the finished product. Far from perfect, but considering this really didn't cost me very much, I think like $5 altogether, and it only took me a few minutes to put together, so I'm considering this a big win, especially because I thought of doing this cosplay like 24 hours ago. This will be good enough for tomorrow. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching my first official bookish vlog. I started this at about 11 a.m. It is now 10 p.m. So although I am tired, I'm feeling very accomplished. If you like this video, please remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more bookish content, and I will see you again soon.